Let's go.
Let's go, baby. Episode 8. We're back to Ed to Shed. UFC London was a great success here for the Ed gang. Almost managed to tie it back up with Steve. Steve, you still have $3.
Somehow I'm still clinging on. Yep.
And you're up first this week. You kind of set the momentum, shift the narrative back. You got that extra pick this week. Try to put a bit more money on the table and win it back.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do here now. Take advantage of my week here.
Let's pull up that whiteboard. Episode 8, UFC Fight Night 205. Curtis Blaydes fighting Chris Daukaus. I went 5-2 last week. We talked about me setting the narrative. How's 5-2, baby? Let's go.
Yeah, you took advantage of your 7 picks. One of mine got canceled early in the draft. I hit my first 2 and then lost everything else. So mine was a bit of a mess. You won 12 back off me, but luckily I started off up 15. So we're almost even here now.
That's right. Let's take a look at what we got this week. We got Manon Fiorot coming out on a bit of a win streak. I think she's like 3-0 right now. Let me check the paper.
Manon, I think she's 3-0.
Manon is 3-0 in the UFC. Maya's 4-4. Maya lost the fight against Shevchenko. Bit of a mixed bag, but she's got the experience in the octagon. We're going to see if she can stop this Manon Fiorot hype train at minus 475.
Big odds, big odds.
Big odds. I'm looking forward to the Dvorak fight. We can talk about that later. And so is a Saldana kicking off the card. Spicy little pick'em to kick off the prelims.
Yeah, 2 of those fights should be pretty nice. Dvorak and Nicolau should be pretty intense. I heard that one should be on the main card, but anyways. And then, nice little pick'em.
Yeah, it's 125 pounds. Those fights usually get relegated to the prelims, unfortunately. Second half of the prelim card's pretty heavy. We got Batgirl Dana, also known as Dana Batgirl, coming up against Gutierrez. Who will stop the Dana Batgirl hype train, Steve?
I don't know, but I don't really expect it to be Chris, to be honest.
Dana, his premiere in the UFC was a 15-minute loss, and then he went and banged out 3 knockout wins, I believe, in under 6 minutes. 3 wins in under 6 minutes. So his hands are on fire right now. Slight favorite. Maybe Chris will slow the hype train down on Dana.
Yeah, they just got to try and match him up with someone at the same caliber there now. New fighters, you got to try and work them in, do that. So they'll go on a big streak, and then they'll hit a wall somewhere.
We got Magny and McMahon, Rosa, and Griffin. We'll take a look at them later in the draft. On to the main card. I'm looking forward to Latifi Olenek. You looking forward to any of these fights here, Steve?
I think Kai Kara-France and Askar Askarov should be a banger. Kai Kara-France is coming off a streak of 2 round 1 KOs. Askar Askarov ranked number 2 there. Big streak himself. So this one should be intense.
Definitely high-level fight for the division. I think Moreno and Figueiredo are going to run it back again. 4th time's the charm. So this could be the title bout eliminator for whenever they finish doing that. Then we got the top 3 fights of the night. Barberena Brown, Pick'em, really spicy in that featured slot. Joanne Wood, bit of her performance as of late, not the best. Grasso, not really sure where they're going to go with this. 7 versus 9, middle of the division. We'll get some clarity after this bout. And then we got the main event. Daukaus, Blaydes. Blaydes heavy favorite, minus 410, trying to push back Daukaus out of the top 10 just as quick as he showed up.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised actually by the odds on this one. Curtis Blaydes was going to be my pick for this one. I didn't expect him to be minus 410 there. I like Chris Daukaus has a lot of talent, and in the main event of a heavyweight bout, you don't know who's going to win this one at all.
That's a good point. I was going to say the same thing. 410 is very steep on the Blaydes side. If you're looking for a spicier pick, Daukaus could be it. Now, let's get into the draft battle. Here we have last week's main event. Tom Aspinall getting it in the first round, the submission. So you're up first, under 3.5 rounds. You called it. He made the best of his big moment in London.
I was kind of surprised to see round 1 sub there. Volkov is a good wrestler, and he takes a lot of fights long. But it didn't work out for him there on the ground.
That's the thing. Sometimes it can go either way when it goes to the ground. And everyone who had Aspinall by KO, they got burned. There goes that bet, right?
That's true. Yeah. I was saying take Aspinall by KO and Volkov by decision. I would have got burned pretty bad.
That's the thing. That's the submission factor. Now, first bets of the night. Kizriev, Fiorot. Jumping in.
Yeah. Jumping in. We just take it at the top here now. So I started off. I'll take Kizriev. I just like the 1.17 there, taking him at even odds. I'll take that first pick of the draft.
I went with Fiorot. Hype train, baby. Let's go. Now, we actually took every favorite on this card. So the draft is probably going to come down to pick order and who took the winners in a field of favorites.
Yeah, not something that we always do, but something that kind of happens quite often. I don't know how to word that
A
one.
favorite sweep. Round 2 of the draft, Blaydes and Askarov. First 4 picks, all the 4 heaviest favorites on this card.
Yep, right in order too. So we just blew by him. I like Blaydes. I didn't really like him at the odds here, but I get even odds against you, Devin. So I'm going to take him as my pick before you snatch him up on me.
Straight value pick, right?
So you took
Magny.
Askarov. I liked Askarov there too as well. I jumped over Grasso and I took Magny. I like Magny in here. Third pick of the draft. Great value for me here.
Magny's, I think, a great fighter. Just sometimes he can't show up, or just sometimes it's not his night. Sometimes Magny is there, sometimes he isn't. A bit of a mixed set of performance results. The 1.36 is good value. I think time is going to be on his side again. I think Magny's going to get it done. But you took Magny. I took Batgarel. I wasn't feeling the heavyweight fight, Latifi Olenek just yet. Wasn't really hot on Rosa or McMahon, so I just went with Batgarel.
Yeah, I like that one too. I think I was going to jump down and take them, so I swooped back up, took out the heavy favorite there, Alex Grasso.
Wood is on a 2-fight skid. At one point, she was going to be next in line for the title shot at the 125 division. Now she's not so hot there, so hopefully she can get back in the win column with this one and not turn it into a 3-fight skid. I took Carol Rosa, 1.4. Didn't mind it at all.
I kind of like McMahon at this one. Jesus,
yeah, I like McMahon at 285 as well, but 285 is still steep for Pick'em.
Yeah. Moving on there, I took Borichev. Looking at these fights, I didn't really want to touch the heavyweight fight there. Kind of looking down at the rest of the Pick'ems. Figured I'd clean up the 159. Borichev looks to win this fight. Getting a little bit tighter here. Daikis could certainly.
Yeah, these are pretty tight fights, the next couple of picks. I swung back and grabbed Latifi. He's coming off that split decision win over Tanner Boser. He's a tough guy. He's got a sweet demeanor, and Olenek might be on the way out. So Olenek is 2-5 in his last 7. Latifi's 3-4 in his last 7. But Olenek's on that 3-fight skid. I think it might be the end of the road for Olenek, and if he loses this fight, it's going to be pretty harsh with a 4-fight skid behind him.
Yeah, not very often you see a 4-fight skid. They don't get that chance there that often.
You went with Dvorak.
Yeah, I went with Dvorak. I had a close look at this one. This one is a tight match. I wasn't sure out of the 3 fights that were remaining, or even which side of each fight to take. I watched a couple of Dvorak's fights, tie breaking there. Got a lot of energy, got a lot of wrestling skills, and just thinking that he's going to do it.
I think the Dvorak fight is going to be a really exciting matchup. Let me take a look at the stats so that I can drop some stats in here. I got about Dvorak. Dvorak's on a 16-fight win streak, so there's a lot of momentum behind him. And Mateus Nicolau, 17-2. He's got a win over Tim Elliott. He's got a win over Manel Cape, and he's got a win over Luis Smolka. So he's faced some stiff competition. So this should be a really good matchup and a test of the skills for both men. Now, last 2 picks, the closest ones we left. I took Matt Brown. He's got, I think, the record for most knockouts in that division. His hands are hot. And if he just lands against Barberena, I think he's got the hotter hands to take out Barberena.
Yeah, absolutely. And when a guy is just that good at striking, so he can knock him down. If he doesn't knock him out, jump on his back, take advantage of the ground and pound.
That's very true. Now, the last pick of the night, you went Bruno Souza.
Yeah, I took Souza with this one. Again, pick him to finish it off here. I like the value here. I like the actual gambling pick of taking Bruno Souza here.
Nice. Now,
so moving on with that, we did take every single favorite this time. Doesn't happen very often. I don't know if it's happened ever. That will take every favorite. Nobody from the left side of the draft at all. So that doesn't really work when you're betting against a bookie. So what you're relying on is for every single favorite to win. And that doesn't happen very often. It really doesn't happen at all. So a lot of our good weeks when we see that we're do good, we go 4-2 or 5-2. A lot of favorites win, but we do have to mix them up. Take some dogs there every now and then, because that's where the value is. We take even odds against each other, so every single pick is 2.0 for payout. But when we're mixing them in, and you see a lot of 1.17s, 1.19s, you have to win a lot of these fights in a row. And if you lose one, you're kind of screwed.
So when you look at a fight like 1.17, 120, it's an implied win probability of like 80+%. So you have to bet that fight like to the tune of 5 units or 6 units just to win 1 unit. You have to have 5 bets riding on 5 favorites and they all have to hit. If one doesn't hit, you're going to be down money. So these are very thin odds to try to make some money off of.
Absolutely. I was doing some bet tracking and some outcome tracking for all of our picks so far that we have done in the past 7 episodes there. So in total, the total results, did you want to hear how we do?
How did we do? How many picks did we hit on? And if we had money riding on them, how much money did we make, Steve?
All right. So I had 34 wins, 20 losses. So out of 54 picks, I had 34 of them right. It's okay. With these crazy odds, the 1.2s, the 1.3s, you're not really going to make money on that unless you bet a certain way. Come back to that in a second. You hit 38 wins, 20 losses. So you've had 58 picks, 38 wins. So we had the same amount of losses. You have 4 more wins than me.
You're 34-20, and I'm 38-20 so far in our last few matches.
Yeah. So you're 38-20. I'm 34-20. But it's kind of neat when we look at the gambling. There's 2 different betting models that you can use with unit betting. The easy one, the most basic one, is you bet 1 unit on every fight and you just see what the outcomes are. So if you bet 1 unit and on a 1.17, it's going to pay out 1.17 units.
Okay.
There's the other kind of bet that you can make there with unit bets. It's bet to win 1 unit, minus 410. You had to bet $410 to win $100, as opposed to if somebody's an underdog, if they're plus 200, you bet $50 and you still win $100. Using this method for me got me plus 5 units since episode 1. It's a lot more risk and reward. So you bet a lot more and you win a lot more. But if I bet the same amount on every single fight, I would be down 5 units.
And how about me? How did I do?
So yours was a bit even there. So you were plus 1.5 units basically for both methods of betting. So whether you bet the same on every fight or if you bet, say, 410 to win 1, then you were coming out plus 1.5. Yeah, I know.
So I've made 58 bets and I'm just barely plus money if I was betting against a bookie this entire time, is what you're saying.
That's right. Yep.
I'll take it.
Yeah. So this is exactly why we're trying to look at some more gambling picks right now. So trying to take less heavy favorites that'll end up biting us in the ass, and try to take more dogs and even fights and continuing the discussion with me and you, as opposed to taking our draft picks as our picks. So this is where we come up with our gambling picks here for this week. Since I'm explaining it so convolutedly.
When we bet in draft battle, heavy favorites are a no-brainer. But when you're actually betting on the market, someone like a heavy dog like Chris Daukaus or Jennifer Maia might represent some value that draft battle doesn't really give them credit for, frankly.
Absolutely. Where they would only pay out the 2.0 odds, but their implied win probability is only down to, say, 15 or 20%. But this is exactly why we're switching those around. Just where it's new this week, kind of getting Devin on board here. I've chosen all of my picks that I like, and I've reversed it and took a lot of dogs there too. So
you can see the flip here between the first 4 picks. 3 of them you actually went dog side if you're trying to make some money proper. You just don't want to ride those heavy favorites because it implies they'd have to win 7 times out of 8 or 8 times out of 9.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd rather, to win $100, you'd have to bet, say, $400 on Manon, or you'd have to bet $25 or $20 on Jennifer Maia. So I'd
rather ride Jennifer Maia on a $20 bet than Fiorot on a $400 bet.
Exactly.
The idea behind a probability is like Manon has to win that fight literally 7 times if they had it 8 times
for you to make money.
Yeah. You need to chase a lot more money after Manon.
So where I'm kind of explaining it a little bit of convolutedly here, getting some back and forth here. You seeing what I'm doing here now?
I see it. You're looking for that value, right? Because draft battle value and bookie value are 2 different things.
Exactly. But what I ended up doing this week is I just flipped a bunch of your picks over to my dogs, and then I'm just running with it. So those are my gambling picks, pretty much like my picks here. Now, I really like a couple of your picks. I really like that girl Dana. And I really like
Matt Brown, you mentioned.
Yeah, really like Matt Brown. But when I was doing my draft, I was trying to avoid people like Manon Fiorot, I was trying to avoid further down there. I was avoiding Karol Rosa.
Askarov.
No, I wasn't actually trying to avoid Askarov. I think he's going to win, but the odds for Kai Kara France are just too good.
Kai is a great fighter. 3.6. I can smell a bit of value off of that.
I was avoiding a lot of heavyweight fights, even though I did take Curtis Blaydes, but I switched my own from Curtis Blaydes over to Daukaus to get the value there. But I like Matt Brown. I like to pick him. Bruno Souza there, and I like David Dvorak.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to seeing if this gambling approach actually pays out next week. I'm sure you'll run the numbers for us.
Yeah, I'll start running the numbers a bit more there, and we'll start to keep track of more comprehensive gambling picks. The only thing that I really want to throw in there is with these guys that I've left in 1.17, 1.36, 1.34 wins that I think are going to happen, but really bad odds. I'll parlay those. So I'll probably leave the 117 out, and I'll parlay Magny with Grasso, and that'll be my, say, 1.8 pick for that one.
So your parlay of the week is Neil Magny, Alexa Grasso?
Yeah, sure. I'll say that.
Ooh, the Steve parlay of the week. We can make that our little segment.
Yeah, I'm not uber confident in that, since that was both my third and fourth picks, but let's run with it, eh?
Let's run with it.
Should be a great main event there. Love some fat boys. Love some heavyweights. You know, these fights are usually explosive, oftentimes fast, a lot of KOs, and they can go any way.
Can I take fight goes the distance? Can I take this fight goes long? I think Curtis Blaydes is going to just hold that man down for 25 minutes.
Why are you taking it long?
I like to take it long because even when the fight becomes a drag, I'm excited. I'm excited to watch it not end. So I can enjoy watching it. Let's be honest. If this fight goes how it probably will, we're going to see Daukaus doing this for 20 minutes. So that's the one I'm looking forward to the most. I love to see the wrestling in the cage. Everyone likes to see a big striking match. Nah, let's see some Curtis Blaydes wrestling that grinds you out for 25 minutes against Volkov, 15 minutes against Rosenstrike. Just a wrestle fest.
We'll see if he does it again this week then. So looking ahead to next week, we got nothing.
We got nothing. We got week off.
Break. Yeah, week break. So we'll see if we fill in anything there. Maybe we'll do some gambling information. Maybe I'll straighten that all out for you. Hey,
we could do a little recap because we got the pay-per-view coming April 9th. We could do a little look at what we've done the first 8 episodes, do a little recap like the anime always do. Write the letter, "Dear Mom, we did 8 episodes of Ed to Shed."
Yeah, we'll hit it up next week. We'll do a recap. We'll do a forecast. We'll do whatever there. Fill the gap, hey?
Sounds beautiful. And then we got Korean Zombie Volkanovski. I'm very excited for that card. We'll take a look at that down the line.
Oh man, that's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, we'll get some content up on the Shed to Ed or Ed to Shed YouTube channel.
Yeah, Ed to Shed this week. It's gonna be back. It's gonna be back to Shed to Ed next week.
Very tight. A lot of back and forth. You're just up $3 now. I'm clawing towards that. We're gonna break even in this lifetime.
Not this week, but maybe sometime later.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, we'll see you later on.